the Executive Secretary of the CTBTO Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization, Dr. Robert Floyd.
Thank you very much, Martin, and good afternoon, everybody. You are the true believers to have lasted all of 4.5 days and still being here. So just as we persevere for a world where there would be no longer any further nuclear testing, I'm glad you persevered to the very end here today. Actually, to my team, I left my notes back in the office. Can somebody from my team go and grab my notes, because I've got the list of the thank yous. Please fetch the notes. Steve, you'll be right. Ava! All right. Ava's brought my notes. Good girl, Ava. Thank you to Boston Dynamics for loaning Ava to assist where humans fail, but technology delivers. Good girl, Ava. You can go back now. Yeah. Oh, she's... I hope you all had the opportunity to meet Ava down below at the on-site inspection area. That's tremendous that she's been able to assist us here at this meeting. Ava wants to command your attention. Let's continue. But I am impressed with so much of the technology that has been on display, the technology that has been spoken about and has been introduced to us all, that can aid in the verification activities of the CTBT. Ava, just one example of that wonderful technology. But at a time like this, with the closing ceremony, I did think about what are the reasonable measures of success for a conference. So what are the metrics of success that we should have? And courtesy of Ava, I now have my notes. So for some of you, success for this meeting might be that 5,000 sandwiches were successfully delivered and devoured, 3,500 bottles of water, 12,338, that's very precise, glasses were cleaned and washed. I think we should just give thanks for the catering coordinators, the catering staff, that have done a super job. For them, that's probably success. I've got some other ideas on success. But for some others, success might have been deploying 1.378 kilometers of duct tape all around this venue. Can you believe that? Nearly 1.4 kilometers of duct tape has been used to put this event on. Or others would marvel at 10.6 million pixels of projection. That's a lot of projection, but great work to those that did that. But maybe more importantly, remember when we started, we worried about the ceiling. Actually, I think you should worry about the floor, because 78.34 tons of audiovisual equipment has been deployed into this place, and the floor is still holding us. So let's give thanks to the audiovisual team, the logistics people, and the Hofberg team for what they've done to make this meeting a success. But maybe closer to home to many of you is the number of people. We ended up with a bit over 2,000 registrations, an all-time high, an amazing number, over 150 countries represented, a huge number of people. But even to accommodate that, that just doesn't happen automatically. We've had people slaving away with the app support, with all the registration support, even the security, so let's thank them for their efforts. But that's just the people. 100 oral presentations in different shapes and forms. Now we're getting down to the real value. Not only 100 oral presentations, 450 e-posters, an amazing number, 29 exhibits. And for all of that to be put together in a marvelous program by the SnT Program Coordination Committee. Particularly Martin Kalinowski and Pierre Mallet, who've done a super job. Yes, call it out for them. All right. Amazing job. And a whole bunch of people that were in that team with them. The comments I've heard from so many of you about how wonderful the program has been, how well organized it's all been. It's that group and the many people that supported them that we owe a great debt of gratitude to. But the person who headed all of those is our director, Zenabu. Director Zenabu is the executive lead for this whole SnT conference. Zenabu, thank you. Please stand up, Zenabu. Thank you so much. Great job. Great job. But to me, the real measure of success actually goes one step further. And that is that when we bring so many people, about 1,500 technical people together, the measure of success for me is actually about the relationships formed, the collaborations that have been sparked, the ideas that have been generated, the technologies which are new and can be applied in all sorts of ways. That to me is the power of together. And that to me is the measure of success. I look forward to seeing that roll out as we move forward. But for me, just a couple of programmatic highs. The first one was actually on the opening morning, come early afternoon. I was sitting down here next to Foreign Minister Harusi from Somalia. And he would lean over to me from time to time through that morning session, and he would say, "That's amazing. That's amazing." And he was marveling that Somalia could be a part of this family. He then told us that they will sign, they will ratify this treaty. And I was hoping to be able to announce the first part of that today, but I think it might be Monday. He is following through and issued instructions to New York on Tuesday to see the signature of the treaty by Somalia. I wish they were here to applaud them for their great achievement. What a lovely thing to do in the context of this conference. That was certainly a programmatic high, but several other programmatic highs for me. I loved the panel session, the public session, where we heard all about the Hoanga Tonga Hoanga Ha'apai volcanic eruption. And we heard people from different parts of the world that were looking at the same event through different lenses, different technologies, different experiences, different disciplines. Such an amazing story to think that somebody getting up to feed their baby in the middle of the night in Alaska could hear that volcanic eruption, and then to work through some of the physics and the science of that. That was a great session, and a great one to have as a public session, as well as about the Syrian, Turkey earthquake. So it was certainly wonderful. But for me, another highlight was in this conference, we had not one director of the International Monitoring System Division, but we actually had 4 of the directors of that division over time. The very first, the second, and then the last 2. And it was amazing to hear from them their decades of experience, their decades of commitment, and commitment by those that were even here right at the start. I don't know if Geraldo is here still in the audience or not, but the commitment, the dedication they had then, and it just flows on. A wonderful high point for me. But then, the unexpected high point for me was engagement with the next generation. Engagement with the Young Professionals Network people, the CYG, the CTBTO youth group, those that have been involved in our internship program, those that have been involved in our mentoring program, these young people that are just so keen about our treaty, that are so full. We often say this about young people, they're full of passion and optimism, which sometimes is a little condemning, like they haven't got a good idea. They're just full of passion and optimism. Oh no, they've got lots of good ideas. And so to hear their views was just so valuable, and we would give platform for that here. Those were my programmatic highlights, but can I just finish? I know I've stolen a couple of minutes from the organizers, but can I just finish with two most memorable moments? And it actually came again from interacting with the next generation, the early career people. And I wanted to share it with you because it's actually about this theme of the power of together. One of them was talking with a young person with a disability. And this person with a disability gave me a gift, and the gift was her perspective of what it's like to have a disability and to be at a conference like this or other places. And she was very positive about how we've accommodated disability. But I just wanted to share with you one thing she said. When you have a disability, you feel like you are always a burden to others. Always a burden to others to be able to accommodate your disability. Now, I know we never mean to sound like that. You know, I know I would say, oh, we can do that. We can find a way to accommodate. But my subtext is still almost, this is a burden to be accommodated. And it was so challenging to me to hear it from her eyes. That was one of my most memorable moments. The last one I want to finish on is, again, some young people. And this is really challenging to me because, as you know, I'm white, I'm Western, I'm in a position of power. I have all of those things which are normally associated with privilege. But when talking to a bunch of people that are not male as well, not Western, not English as first language, and hearing them, and this was 3 different people on different occasions, say that I asked the question, do I belong here? Do I belong here? And I thought, oh my goodness, you look so full on, confident, self-possessed, and yet the story inside them is still, do I belong here? And every one of them said, they belong here. They belong here. And that is a tribute to all of you for making this such an inclusive, embracing community that people who are a little different can still feel this is where they belong. Friends, you should give yourselves a round of applause. Because if we continue in this vein, the power of together will go with us as we move forward. A pleasure you've all been at this conference, Science and Technology 2023, and I thank you for your contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Robert Floyd. And now I asked to the podium the 3 speakers of the closing words, of the summaries of this event. Please join me at this desk. The first speaker who summarizes with closing words this conference is Annelieke. the CEO of the Norwegian seismic area NORSAR, which is also the Norwegian NDC. Anne, please.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me to this fabulous panel. First of all, I'd like to thank the Executive Secretary and his team, not at least you, for organizing this fantastic conference. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this extraordinary gathering of technical experts and scientists, and observing the engagement and the cooperation and what the ES is calling the togetherness that we have seen at work for the CTBT verification system. And I'm also pleased to see that the concern and the will to help protect the investment that is made in the system, being it the monitoring system, the technologies or the software, and that of the people involved. And I think we all had a reminder when we observed the Hunga-Tonga volcanic event and its record number of reverberations around the world. This size of event is equivalent to a very large nuclear explosion, and it will be the basis for deeper insights into the Earth dynamics. And the session where we had heard about it from all ends of the globe was really something to watch. And this database will be a treasure for seismologists in the years to come. I think it also goes without saying that the basis for the waveform technologies is a well-functioning IMS and IDC with long-lived stations and a robust software solution. And the engagement for the IMS sustainment during this conference has been very promising. And then much effort has been put into making the waveform and its method and technologies better. And we have had a lot of good presentations during this week to prove that. But news maybe since last SNT is maybe the focus on the machine learning and artificial intelligence that points towards more effective processing of large volumes of data, as well as more precise event detection. And the large database that we possess and reviewed bulletins should be an excellent basis for training the algorithms. And yet again, detecting smaller explosions is also a challenge for the verification system, and monitoring of the event detection thresholds should be prioritized. And during the week, I've had the pleasure to meet a few younger scientists, not at least through the YPN events and being in contact with the youth group. It's been a very encouraging experiment. And as opposed to the ES, I think I have to admit that I'm getting a little gray-haired. To recruit and retain the best young technicians and scientists are important to secure the future of the treaty. It's important to secure that its de facto moratorium actually works, and that it is getting a global acceptance, and eventually that it will enter into force. And to be able to be part of this mission makes for a very meaningful career. And then adding the possibility to use the data and the technologies for civil and scientific purposes may make a sound basis for retaining all these young people. And of course, making contributions to the society at large. So, summing up, I think this SNT was very successful in all aspects of the world. It was invigorating, and we had a lot of fun. So thank you again for organizing the event.
Thank you very much, Anne. The next speaker is Anders Ringboom. He's from the Swedish Defense Research Agency, FOI, which is also hosting the Swedish NDC. Anders, your turn, please.
Thank you very much, Martin, and thank you to everybody and the organizers for letting me sit here today on the Swedish Midsummer Eve. I would like to go through this by following the verification process, the source term, dispersion, measurement, and final analysis. And just my views and findings during this conference, what I have noted. Starting with the nuclear explosion itself, in terms of understanding the released isotopic composition and time profile of this process, is very, very complicated. There has been several advances in this area. There are several groups working on modeling the release mechanisms in an underground nuclear explosion, and this has large implications both for OSI and IMS and the IDC and the CE complex. For example, I'm really hoping that the modeling tool that was presented by CEA can be available for the wider community. It looks really promising. To understand the source term, historical data is of course very valuable. In the case of radionuclides, the amount of such data is not overwhelming. Therefore, I really appreciate the efforts presented at this SnT, where almost 100 publications containing such data were compiled, and I think this can really help the NDCs in their work. The low-yield nuclear monitoring program that was presented also yesterday, which includes an experimental testbed at Nevada National Security Site with more than 1,000 sensors to capture a number of different signatures, really promises to give new insight with respect to the source term and other parts of the verification regime as well. Going to the next step, which is dispersion, this is also advancing. This is the uncertainty of atmospheric transport modeling is a very challenging problem, but also very important. And works on ensemble modeling, shown here, show that it is possible to quantify the ever-varying weather uncertainty, and this could be also tremendous help for the NDCs to judge the confidence in their assessments. Moving to measurements, we have heard a lot about the next generation systems here this week, noble gas systems, and this has been around for a couple of years, and I'm happy to note that they are being rolled out as we speak. And these systems will give the IMS IDC sharper tools with respect to time resolution and sensitivity, and it will help us to identify new background sources and to isolate the nuclear explosion signal. This brings me to a couple of challenges that I see. One has already been mentioned by Anne, that's sustainment. This is also an issue for the radionuclide systems. One aspect of this is caused by the fact that IMS sometimes uses a very specialized technology, not used by many others, which means that this is a small market, and this implies challenges both to the verification community and the suppliers. Another big challenge where much is being done, but a lot of work still remains, is the radionuclide background. This is true both for radioxenon and aerosols. This challenge can and must be addressed in several different ways, by mapping potential sources, by information gathering as well as background measurement campaigns, measuring release at the source, as is done by the STAX project, for instance, reduce the releases by installing abatement equipment, for instance. And it would be good to see more facilities install such systems. In addition, these SNTs show that new background sources are coming, including new isotope production facilities, neutron spallation sources, and molten salt reactors, for instance. And new isotopes not considered before can be emitted, and we have to be prepared for this. This brings me to the last part, analysis of radionuclide data. Here the trend is clear. More and more work is done to create event association schemes. And this is a challenging problem. Which samples do I select for my location analysis, for instance? We have seen here at SnT how this problem can be addressed in several different ways, including machine learning. And the location techniques are also constantly evolving. It's a difficult problem, in particular if the source is complex. But I have no doubt that this community has the capability to advance this further. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anders. The third and last speaker will be Doris Seif, and she just started her PhD project in Ljubljana, but she is associated, she's a staff member of the Tanzania Atomic Energy Commission, which also hosts the NDC of Tanzania. Doris, the floor is for you, please.
Thank you very much, Martin, for your nice introduction. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to thank CTBTO to give me this opportunity to sit here and present to you. Thank you very much. But I would also like to congratulate Dr. Freud and your team for organizing this conference. I've been here in previous conference. I can say there is a lot of improvements. I can give you an example. In the previous years, we used to come here with posters, holding posters like guns everywhere. We're going with our posters. But this time, there's no such kind of thing. Congratulations for that. My presentation will focus on 3 questions. And the first one is about the biggest opportunity. And the question is, what is the biggest opportunity for the future development that I witnessed in this conference? I can say, among other things, 11 international active professional societies with strong links to CTBT were introduced. And this gives an example of the tremendous opportunities for collaboration with CTBTO and the internal expert community involved in CTBT matters. The second question is, what is the most visible achievements since SnT 2021? As I said before, we have made a lot of improvements, but in this SnT, it gives voices and room visibility and task to young generation and area career scientists. Differently than before, young professionals didn't have parallel programs, but in this time, they were fully integrated, and even they were invited to give presentation and to act as panelists in several presentations. And this enhanced inclusiveness, in turn, returns in broadening of ideas and breaking out of patterns of traditional thinking. I really appreciate for this. I've been in several panel discussions, listening the views and comments. The message that's shared by speakers of professional societies in other panels as well is to seek for more opportunities to offer training, scholarship, and other means to support the next generation of experts to grow into leaders of tomorrow. Because when we provide training to this young generation, we're expecting them to grow, okay? The knowledge that they will attain here, they will transfer it to their country, and later on they'll be good leaders. And this is what we're expecting to see. I can say that this conference sets an example of inclusiveness by providing accessibility to women, young generation from developing and developed countries, people with disabilities, and others underprivileged group. Let me take this opportunity first to say something. When you look around, you can find a lot of people who are young, okay? And this is good. And also, I don't say this because I'm from Africa, but I have to say this. We have a lot of African participants this time. And I can say this time, CTBTO hits African continent, and this is good. I can give an example, I can give you one example, and this goes to the mentoring program that CTBTO is doing. In one of the training conducted in Slovakia this year, 8 out of 12 mentees in CTBTO mentoring program for early career women in STEM were provided with an opportunity to attend the OSCI regional training course in Slovakia this year. Officially, the mentees were brought as additional observers, but they were participated fully in the activities. And during the course, half of the field team leaders were female. All mentees from mentoring program. They were not chosen as the field team leaders because they're just female, but simply because of their capabilities to act as leaders. And currently, 4 mentees have officially nominated and accepted to OSCI Linear Training Program. Now I have to turn to my last question. And the question is, what is the biggest opportunity from new scientific development shared at this conference for the preparation of ACI field experiments in 2025? I see, in general, development of artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and modeling are the biggest opportunities in new scientific development. This SNT showcased new opportunities for equipment development and testing and training of OSCI surrogate inspectors. We experienced this through virtual reality tools, including the realistic OSCI airborne simulator in helicopter frame, and I hope everyone saw it there. Other OSCI-related highlights include contributions focusing on the potential of ground and near-surface remotely controlled measurement platforms during an OSI. We saw firsthand a robotic dog. It was here with relevant sensor in action. So the importance of exercising OSI equipment and procedures were addressed, I can say that, and the challenges of operating in environments such as tropics were also emphasized. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Doris, and I appreciate very much the time that the 3 speakers took during this week to prepare for giving just 5-minute summary of the most interesting things they witnessed at this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, we are now turning to the award ceremony. And we have several awards to give away. And the first one is the EU Star Award. So I asked His Excellency Stefan Clement to come to the floor, to the podium, please, to hand over the EU Star Award. I hand it over to you. And please come here. The EU Star Award requires to fulfill certain criteria which are mentioned in the mobile app and on the event platform. I don't read them out right now here, but the one that got the most votes and matched these criteria is Ms. Shima Al-Kuli. Her poster is on the seismic discrimination between nuclear explosions and natural earthquakes using multi-machine learning approaches, and she is from Egypt. So. Now for the next award, I asked our director for knowledge management and human resources, Dipti Chube, to hand over the next award, which will be given for the best early career scientist. The award goes to Mr. Abdul Majid Ibrahim. Abdul Majid is a CYG member from Nigeria, and the poster for which he wins his award has the title Efforts, Challenges, and Way Forward for the CTBT Entering into Force. Now I ask Mrs. Zenabo Mindaudu Soleil to come to the podium and hand over the award for the best oral presentation. And the award goes to Mr. Julian Vergos. Unfortunately, he is not available now here, so Mr. Patrick Huppe, who is a colleague, a co-author of the same oral presentation, is receiving the award, taking it over. It's from France. Julien Vergos is from France. Patrick Huppe from Germany, and the oral presentation has a title, International Monitoring System Observations of Infrasound and Acoustic Gravity Waves, produced by the January 2022 volcanic eruption of Hunga Tonga, a global analysis. The next three awards are all Best Poster Awards. We have this time 3 Best Poster Awards because we think with so many more posters than oral presentations given, it's fair that we award 3 posters with this award. And now I asked Mr. Uday Dayal, Director of Administration, to come to the podium to hand over this award. The winner is Mrs. Mona Abdelazim Abdallah Medvali. She's also an early career scientist, a YPN member, and from Egypt again, and the poster that she gets her award for is called Seismotectonic Setting and Coulomb's Stress Change for Earthquakes in Aswan, Egypt. The next Best Poster Award is handed over by Mrs. Xiolo Perez Campos, Director of the IMS Division. The winner is Mrs. Maria Maghrebi. Unfortunately, she is not available today, so her father, Abdullah Maghrebi, former PTA staff member, is coming to receive the award on her behalf. She's from Tunisia, and the title of her poster is Synergy Between Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Technologies and National Technical Means. Last not least, one more Best Poster Award, Oleg Roskov, Director of the OSI Division. Please hand it over. And this award goes to Mr. Murad Al-Homaimad. From Jordan, and the poster title that he gets his award for is Capacity Building and Technical Assistance Cooperation in Jordan National Data Center. This was the award ceremony. I thank Eleonora for handing over the awards and making sure that I don't hand over the wrong award. Thank you, Eleonora. Now we come to closing remarks. The project executive, IDC director, Mrs. Zenabo Mindoudo Soleil, please, your remarks.
Thank you very much, Martin. Congratulations to all who receive awards. However, I would like to assure all of you that everyone here and online deserve appreciation and thanks for your active contribution to SnT 2023. Let me add to the praise and the thanks that the Executive Secretary has expressed. I want to first thank the Executive Secretary, Dr. Robert Floyd, for assigning me as project executive. I want to commend your leadership, and we will not achieve all this without your full support. Thank you very much. One more time, Martin Kalinowski and Pierrick Miel, they did an extraordinary job. I thank them for their patience and for their perseverance. There was a wonderful, agile team supporting us, and so many staff behind the scene running the event effectively. I cannot mention everyone, but rest assured that your efforts are noted and appreciated. We had excellent team leaders of many different tasks with highly dedicated staff across all divisions of the PTS who had presented the event who had prepared the event for more than 1 year. Local organizing committee, scientific program group, conveners of all topical sessions, points of contact for the panels. I want to emphasize my gratitude to the outstanding members of the SnT 2023 Scientific Program Committee, as well as invited speakers and panelists. We also outsourced a large amount of work to contractors. I thank you all for your commitment and professionalism. The whole event will be nothing without you as participants. I want to thank all of you for joining online and in person at Hofburg and for your contributions. Scientists, technologists, academics, delegates of states, and students. I'm especially happy to see more and more young females experts in the STEM areas. I would also like to mention station operators and national data center staff, representative of science, diplomacy, science advisory, media, and advocacy. I would like to apologize for any inconvenience because it always happens, but in general, adding to what was said by the panel previously, participants are very happy. They shared positive thoughts. I want to share a few of them with you. We can leave COVID behind. Our Science Festival is back. SnT2023 is a demonstration of the growing interest of this conference, and it is more successful than ever. Sometimes we receive suggestions and ideas for improvement, but one thing is clear: we do not want to lose what we have. So, this is my favorite. I want to ask all participants, online and in person, to continue providing us with feedback because it allows us to improve. To understand why it is my favorite, I want to share with you one of my first English lessons. In my country, we start learning English as second language around the age of 10. So it is as follows: good, better, best. May I never rest until the good is better and the better best. On Monday, all participants will receive a link to the survey on the event platform. I wish all those who travel to Vienna a safe trip back home. Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Shall we meet again? In 2 years' time from now, we'll have SnT 2025, and I can announce you the dates of that event. It will be 7 to 11 July 2025. And before we leave, let's have a memorable, before we leave this memorable 2023 behind, let's take a look at a brief reminder of why we are gathered here this week and move on inspired about what we can accomplish together.